The previous video we made, we discussed about the general safety of Dubai after we had the conflict. Now, it's been 30 days from that conflict, and we're going to discuss about the effect on the property market. This is a bit more inside information with regard to what's going to happen to the real estate market in general in Dubai. We're very much sure that people have questions about that one, so we try to cover that part. Today I'm once again with Milena. Welcome
Hello.
back.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you here. So we're going to discuss about the details of what's going to happen to real estate market and effect on the off-plan or pre-construction and secondary short-term rental, long-term rental, and in general all over the real estate market. I think
people have a lot of questions in general, like what is happening currently on the market? Is demand still there? What is the future? What can we do in this situation? Is there any distress deals? Is there any discounts? So definitely there is so many topics that me and you can cover together too.
So before we do that, I just want to go back again on one more time, briefly talk about, like, you know, since the moment the conflict is started, what happened to Dubai. Because remember, we had to make the video. If you haven't seen that video, by the way, you can go back to our YouTube channel and watch that video. We kind of drove around downtown area in Dubai from our office, and we were showing like life is going as a normal, despite what they were showing in the media outside. We had to do that because for some people, they were thinking Dubai is affected in a way that, you know what, the daily life is stopped. People are not going to work. I don't know, banks are closed, schools are closed. But that wasn't the reality. And we just, like, you know, drove around and we show around that, you know, things are going as a normal. Don't get me wrong, things are slow. Things are like very, very slow in general. And it's very normal because of the conflict, because of the issues going on. But there's no major issue. We're not in shortage of food, there's no shortage of water, there is no main safety concern. And I'm sure you feel the same as well. Like, you know, for me, I always say, for me, Dubai is a home, like, you know, being here long enough that regardless what's going to happen, I'm going to be here.
You know what, in that video that we discussed when we were driving around, we compare how is actually in Dubai, how me as a European who have been living abroad in Europe, in US eventually, and then how the life here is compared, like everyday life, compared to the different countries and how we, even when the conflict is happening right now, how we are protected. So this is why people inside of the Dubai, they're not panicking, they're not running around, there is no like, you know,
as you say it in general, like, you know, this is the moment, like, you know, normally people panic. People run to the store, says, you know, there might be a shortage of food, shortage of water, like, you know what, I go get this one, I get that one. Honestly, it didn't cross even my mind because we fully trust on the government and the plan they have. And it's not just like blindly you trust something. You know, when you hear about the plan they had, like, I don't know, Food Safety 2051 plan, where they, you know, they introduced back in, I guess it's 2017 or 2018, you know, with regard to water, the same thing. It's like, you know, when you go and you dig down a bit more about the information and the safety precaution the government's been taking and putting in place, that you feel way more safer. And even right now they're discussing and saying, you know what, for the next 6 months, there's no shortage of food or anything else. Yes, again, fresh item where it's coming from, let's say neighbor countries, it could be affected. Some of the item it could be affected, but not like, you know, the main one. So that was one whole topic we discussed about it. And since then the life has been going on. We've been coming to office every single day. We've been going from some of the briefing. So now that part is like, I guess people are adapted to it. Like, I mean, in general, you don't feel scared. You have the option. The flight is more open, by the way, compared to previous time we had the video. And by the way, I went myself to Amsterdam for a day and I came back. Things were okay, but everything was like less crowded, I would say, everywhere. But in general, things has been going good.
So overall, I think everyone has the same questions. It comes to the same topics, how the market is going to develop now when it comes to the short term, when it comes to the long term, what is going to happen to the off-plan, what is going to happen to the secondary, short-term rental, long-term rental. So let's start from those topics and to address those, because I think there is a lot of investors who are international, first-time purchaser, never purchased before, wanted to invest. So what do you think overall how the situation right now is on the market and how potentially it can develop in the future?
Okay, great. So this is, I guess, as you say, the question is going to the mind of everyone.
Yeah.
Every investor from outside, people over here, everyone wants to know what's happening in the real estate market right now. Now, again, me and you were discussing earlier, and I was saying, you know, how some people, a couple of 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, they come up and says, oh, the real estate market is about to crash. There is like 17% drop. Again, that 17% drop, it was the real estate index in the stock market, not to the actual market. We are here in the ground. We don't see that kind of drop everywhere. Now, when I say everywhere, meaning you might have an investor who is like, you know, panicking. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, but not like everyone. Not everyone in the market goes to say, oh, okay, you know what? I'm done. I just want to sell. I don't care. I want to sell my property 20%, 17%, 30% below the market. We don't see that in the market. Yes, here and there is. Now, as you mentioned, let's just go and see the effect one by one. Now, I believe the biggest effect is going to be in the off-plan and pre-construction area, which is very normal. We are on unstable condition at the moment. We are in a conflict.
Uncertain.
We
cannot tell.
And it's very normal for investors to hold whatever plan they had for Dubai for the moment. Now, keep in mind, there are elite people with big money, and they are just waiting to see where is the opportunity. And to seize those kind of opportunity. And that's where they make money, because they know in the market when there is a conflict, when there's an issue, there will be opportunity. But not everyone is going to sit in the pile of cash and have access to cash to do such an investment. So with that being said, in general, we have seen the number of transactions in the real estate market has been dropped. Now, this one you can see in the Experian Tract, you can see in Dubai Land Department, you can see the number of transactions is dropped. The number of launches has been dropped drastically, for sure. Like we know, Nakheel, they had so many projects to launch.
But that's also from the other side of the perspective. That's also a bit strategic, because they don't want to launch the project in the meantime.
It does make all sense. Exactly.
Psychology, it's not like when you go from the psychology side, it doesn't make sense to do that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And then what I notice is there is a certain pattern when it comes to the like personalities of the people right now. There are people who are solid, who are just waiting for the opportunity. They are not willing to sell because they know the foundation of the Dubai, they know why they invested in the first place. Then there are second people who are panicking, who are going all over the place, like giving whatever.
Look, as you said, look, there are a couple of different type of people in the market, different investors, I would say. We always been telling the client, our client and people, that real estate is a long-term game. Whoever is in this business for real knows that for the fact. Now, of course, you know what, sometimes you get that opportunity to make money very quick in short time. Why not? But in general, real estate is like a long-term game. Now, going back to the off-plan project. Now, giving the facts on the ground and the current situation is very normal for developers to hold their launches. We didn't see like, you know, big launches happening. Apart, I guess, Dubai Holding, they were planning to do the launch for Dubai Island, the new island, Island E, where there's townhouses and villa. And by the way, they're collecting UI. But Nakheel or Dubai Holding, as one of the biggest developer here in Dubai, they can do such things. Now, the effect, I believe, is going to be more with the smaller developer. Now, the grade A developer is someone like Dubai Holding, which is include Nakheel, Meras, and also a developer like MR. The top developers are not going to be affected that much. In terms of price. No, again, this is like lots of details we have to go through that and like discuss about it in details, but I'm saying all over. Now, the smaller developer, whoever comes up like, you know, as a fast project in JVC, in JVT, John, Majan, more affordable area. The Wonchon is more, they're not premium. They're going to be affected. But I promise you, the Wonchon, like a premium, like, waterfront project, prime location, they're not going to be affected
overall,
that much.
The people need to understand the real estate, what comes into the real estate. When you are investing in Dubai, it's not just, I'm going to buy a project, I'm just going to buy that apartment. There has to be certain factors that are impacting your investment. And of course, in this kind of situation, all of that lines up. So whenever we are advising people, whenever we are telling them, you need to look at the reputation of the developer, you need to look at the location, you need to look what is the unit, and etc. Smaller details like future developments of the project, all of
the past record of the developer itself as well.
Of course, all of that is going to impact your investment now in this situation, in the future, without the war, with the war, whatever comes. So that is very important. So this is why we are saying the biggest developer are not coming out with any kind of discounts, any kind of layouts or something like this, because
I'm going to details of that a bit more if you allow me. So the off-plan in general is affected in terms of the number of launches and the number of sales at the moment. This is very normal again.
Yes.
And we have to wait until these conflicts, come to the end, and then we'll see from there. And we kind of sure that after the conflict, Dubai is going to bounce back very strong. Now, there is several reasons to that one. I'm not going to discuss about that one right now, but we can definitely make a video about that one. In fact, you know what, we can make about that one and say based on what reason, because we have some information from there. Now, but let's just talk about current right now. So the off-plan is going to be affected for sure. Now, where is going to be affected the most again also, it's going to be the smaller developer.
Yes, of course.
The bigger developer, bigger project, we're still fine. I mean, giving 1 month to the conflict, till today, we're still fine, I would say. Now, this is with regard to off-plan. Now, with that being said, we're going to see, I guess, more of a transaction on the secondary
market, correct.
The units are almost about to be ready or is ready. We might see more transaction on that side.
Yeah.
Now, that's with regard to secondary, so it might be slightly better. And also, there might be people who they just really need cash and here and there, they decide to sell, and that creates an opportunity. We have seen few deals here and there. Let's say there was one of the last deal, I think it was one of the units in downtown, was going for 1.85 and then sold for 1.55.
Yeah.
For one bedroom apartment. That was a drop of around 16-17% approximately.
Yes.
But again, that's like 1, 2, 3 units here and there.
Yeah.
So that doesn't represent the entire market.
Okay, let me then ask you then this question. I believe all of us have been asked these questions, are we seeing the real discounts, like the real distress deals, or this is just like a smart marketing that people are using to attract people?
So I saw a post the other day, and someone was discussing and saying, listen, OP or original price plus DLD, that's not a stress deal. Some people are trying to say, listen, I'm sitting at the stress deal. Now, what's the definition of the stress deal? Look, if today I bought my property at 2.6 and I paid, let's say, 4% DLD, and I come and ask you, hey, Milena, sell this one for me. I'm selling it at the original price. I'm selling it with the DLD. You still not losing money.
Yeah.
So that's not a stress deal.
Yeah.
The stress deal is in the market. I can talk about it literally. I hate to talk about this topic because every time I compare the Dubai market sometime with North America and especially Canada market because of the situation is going on and because of the experience I have from that market. I did some investment in that market, in Canada market in general, and right now the market is very bad, really bad. People who they bought the off-plan properties, it's ready right now. Let's say somebody bought a property for roughly one bedroom apartment in Canada right now in downtown Toronto goes around, at the moment, before all this, let's say up to last year, the price was going at around maybe 700, 800, 900,000, depending on the location, Canadian dollar. Right now you can get the same property for 400,000.
Listen, I will give you insight when it comes to the Balkan overall.
That's just like,
go to Belgrade, to the most exclusive parts, what they call waterfront Belgrade.
Yeah.
The ROI there is 4%, and not even counting the property tax and whatever they have to pay. They have property tax, they have capital gain tax, and so your ROI comes to roughly like 2%.
Yeah.
And the prices are similar as Dubai. They're the same.
Let's say right now in Canada, for example. I'm going to talk about Canada. I hate to do this comparison, but it's just because, like, you know what, I did some investment on that side.
Yeah.
Just to give you a brief information. Now, a year ago, one-bedroom apartment, or condo as they call it on that side, was going for around approximately 900,000, 800,000, depend on the location. Mm-hmm. This is now, let's say, around downtown Toronto. Now, the same apartment right now, it's going for 400, 500,000. It's a huge drop.
That's insane.
And I'm sure it's not only in Canada.
Yeah,
I mean, every other market. So
listen, I think that kind of situation is happening all around the world.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because first of all, to start from the government, that it's not stable. Like, look at the Balkan and the situation that it's happening there. I had many investors there, the people who put the money, and when it comes mainly what they want to achieve is to gain that ROI, return, rental yield. So what they are getting on the yearly level every year is less and less. So for example, they invested in the prime area, which is called Waterfront Belgrade, and they're getting 4%, and that's start like without even paying the capital gain tax, property tax, then the service charges that come on the yearly level, and then the prices are still similar. And then on top of that, the government is unstable. There are so many things wrong happening within the country.
Economy is not growing as fast.
Economy is not, like, overall people are trying to exit because they see what kind of situation is, and then compared to Dubai, they start to put
all
their
to
money.
say, I mean, that's, I would say, like somewhere like Canada right now, you can find like a really a stress deal.
Yes.
Like an investor from outside. By the way, if anyone wants to invest, we have also our office Cielo in Canada as well. We have our team there, more than 10-15 agents in the ground. Our partner is there as well. If anyone wants to invest there, you can reach out to us. This is a bit of advertisement about Cielo as well, I would say. So that's great opportunity, but that's good for people who they have access to cash, because generally people from there right now, they don't have access to liquid cash. So that's, I would call it like, stress deal. We are all to say that we are not in the similar situation as places like Toronto, Canada, or like, a Balkan countries. So with that being said, then when people talk about the stress deal, what we're seeing in the market right now is not really a stress deal.
Yes.
Because market still is not on a place like, that they need to go to that extent.
Yeah.
If this conflict continue, for longer term, then we might see a crack. We might see more investors that try to, offload the property and, then give a better offer. Now, with that being said, that's more toward like off-plan resale and secondary. Yeah. We're not discussing about the developer. Developer is still there holding the prices. Nobody drops the price. We've seen the offer here and there. Some of the smaller developer like.
There is many of them, to be honest.
So many of them. You've been hearing like about the offers, like 4% DLD waiver,
40-60 payment plan.
40-60 payment plan. So they're gonna just adjust those ones. But the main developers, they're still holding up because they know that the effect is not that much, and they want to protect their investors. By the way, that's what always been doing, which is good as well. But and it makes whole sense. Now, what's going to happen next if the situation continues? I believe if the developers are going to come up with a new project, they're going to come up with a better payment plan.
Yeah.
They're going to come up with maybe a small offer on a site. I don't think they're going to adjust the price that much.
Yeah.
They might come up with a better product in the market. Maybe a bigger size of the units. Maybe, the 4% DLD waiver. But main developers like Nakheel, main developer like, Emaar, they're not going to drop the main price. You have the client. We know that one. You're waiting for your Palm Central, and they're waiting for Dubai Holding to launch. And still your client is interested, even despite the current situation.
Because he understands what is the concept behind his investment. And by the way, he's from Belgrade. He doesn't see any purpose investing there. He doesn't see any purpose investing anywhere else. He likes Dubai because Dubai holds foundation, like true foundation and fundamentals, why people are investing here. So people didn't choose to put their money just for the sake of it because the prices are going to grow. They will get 50, 60, 70% capital appreciation. There is actually a strong background happening. That's why people are putting their money. And what I noticed as well, what people are missing is the shift that happened in the past few years. It's not just investors. Now the investors are becoming end users. So that changes the perspective when it comes to all of this narrative, the market is going to crash. And because if I'm living here, if I bought the apartment here, I'm not just going to live like that because I put an effort to move here, to move my wealth, my businesses and everything. So if I feel safe on a daily level, if I feel safe that the market is not going to go anywhere drastically, the banks are working, certain factors that can impact that drop, like we discussed, they're not happening. So I don't feel urgency to sell, to move, to make anything like urgent.
One more big and major difference that people need to realize here, that has Dubai market comparison to other market, despite we have lots of pre-construction and off-plan projects, roughly about again 60 to 70% of the project last year was launched, it was off-plan. Now, you need to remember, most of those transactions also is happening based on cash.
Yes.
So that means people that have access to liquid cash.
Yeah.
Or lots of transactions in the past happen in general, people purchase a property in cash, not through mortgage. If I today have the ability to go and buy my property, let's say for 3 million or 5 million and pay full in cash, that means I have access to liquid cash and I'm not in a stress for such situation to go and sell the property very quick.
Even for the banks, you do understand whenever there is financial crisis, when a bank, when it comes with the mortgages and everything else, why the prices are dropping for the mortgages people is because they don't have that support system.
There we go.
Which we have now from the government. Actually, it's happening. The government has implemented a system for the banks and investment, you know how much. So they wanted to implement to protect that. That means a lot. So they don't want people to feel stressed out, whatever it is the situation. They want to protect people. So that's one factor that it's very, very important for the people who are questioning what is going to happen, because all of them, they are coming with the same idea. Oh, you will see banks will smaller the rates, they will do this, which still it's not happening. I'm not excluding the possibility, but I'm just saying there is a strong foundation behind that not to happen.
Exactly. So now that's with regard to the off-plan and pre-construction. As you mentioned briefly, I believe on the secondary we're going to see more transaction. And also maybe off-plan resale. The project maybe is about to hand over. If someone wants to, let it go at the lower price, that's very much possible. Now, I think one of the biggest impact is going to be, briefly I want to mention here, it's going to be in the rental market. Now there's two types of rental. We know the long-term rental and then there's a short-term. Now, long-term rental, if you think about it, given the fact that 1 month we are into the conflict, yes, some people they left, but majority of people they decide to stay here. Include, I'm saying someone like you, that you have an option to go back. I have an option to go to Canada. You have the option to go to Europe. So many other people. Our neighbor from the next door office, they're Italian. I had a discussion with them. The guy goes, listen, I'm not planning to go anywhere. I feel very much safe here. So
even I'm sorry, but even when you speak to the people, most of the people in Dubai, they're expats, right? So you see people over the internet defending Dubai. They're saying, "Don't worry, we are safe, we are okay, we are this and this." That means a lot. That means we are okay, because if you have opportunity,
people generally they feel safe. That's the reason they're saying that. Otherwise, if you find yourself at the risk, I'm sure you will be the first one who says, you know what, I'm done here. I'm just going to go then. Now, with that being said, so long term, we're going to have less effect. But the area I believe that we're going to have the effect is going to be the short-term rental.
Yes.
Now, short-term rental, Airbnb, its majority runs by, tourists.
Yeah.
Correct? Now, given the current situation, tourists are way more less.
Yes.
There's not that many. That way we can see the roads are less busy. There's no traffic that much. Shopping malls are open, but it's not as crowded as before, which is very normal again. But still, there are people, they believe in Dubai. Let me just tell you this one quickly.
Yeah.
So we have this twin agent from Monaco, and we were discussing with the team earlier. We booked a ticket prior to the conflict, and I just messaged them the other day and say, hey guys, I understand, you're coming to Dubai, but you're supposed to, they're supposed to be on the 1st of April, the day after tomorrow. But then I just reached out to them. I'm like, by the way, if you're not feeling comfortable because of the current situation, it's okay. Emirates actually allowing us, to change your ticket without any charge. By the way, that's another beauty of Dubai.
And to
imagine if it was in Europe or other places, they would charge you every corner. Emirates says anyone booked a ticket from this date to this date, they can change or they can get the new ticket without any extra charges.
So I believe we gave fair insight when it comes to the off-plan and secondary as well. But however, let's jump quickly when it comes to the rents. So short-term rental, long-term rental, what is your opinion on that?
So that's a subject I guess we need to discuss more in details. Now, rental, there's two types of rental. There's short-term and there's long-term. Mm-hmm. And we all know the short-term rental is run mostly based on the number of tourists that come to the city.
Yes.
And it's very common and very normal right now in this current situation that we're not going to have the same number of tourists. So I believe the biggest impact of all this is going to be on the short-term rental in the short-term period for now. So definitely they're going to maybe suffer. They're going to be affected because the tourists are coming less. They're going to have effect. But also we have to keep in mind we are almost close to April. And by summer approaching, in general, real estate and short-term rental, they don't do that great during the summer month in Dubai, correct? Yeah. So I believe the effect is going to be on that part. Long-term is still, for now, is fine because there are not that many people are leaving. And this is the reality. Also, you have to keep in mind, again, I was mentioning, I guess, to one of the staff here that we have an agent in Monaco. They are twin sisters. They're working with Ziola as well. In case if you have anything to do in Monaco, we can help you out there as well.
We are everywhere.
We're everywhere. So they're coming here, and we booked a ticket maybe a month ago. And what happened? I've just asked the admin to reach out to them and say, hey guys, listen, we do understand the situation. You might have a concern. If in case you want to postpone your trip, that's no problem. One more point I have to mention here is that that's the beauty of the UAE and Emirates. Now, we booked the ticket with the Emirates, and Emirates already announced to everyone if
they will rebook it for free.
They rebook it for free without a penalty. You can cancel, or you can get your entire money refund.
Yeah.
I don't think any other airline does something.
No, they're looking to take the money.
They look for an excuse to take your money.
Yeah.
So that's also a beautiful part from Emirates, all to say. Now, back to the agents. We inform them and say, listen, no, we really trust Dubai. We know the conflict is going on, but we can see people, we ask our friend, everyone feels safe, and we want to be here. We might as well do a video with them this coming week and then, try to show that. But also say okay, there is less number of people like them coming to the country at the moment. So that means the short-term rental is going to be affected, but long-term, I don't see that many people leaving the country that the effect is going to be that much drastic. Yes, obviously we're going to have we're going to see the effect maybe here and there, but it's not going to be to the point that it's going to be drastic.
I mean, please, it's going to be very normal to have an effect. First of all, the airlines were closed. There were no flights because of the precaution, because of the safety. Now everything is going back to the normal. So we, realistically, when you see it, in the next maybe 2 months, month and a half, if this situation ends, then maybe in a month we can see the people are coming back, because the same happened to the Russia and Ukraine. People still went to Russia, right? Yeah. But if this prolongs, then we are going to have a bit coldness on the market because summer is approaching, like you said. So we have 2-3 months until June. Then from June, July, August, September, let's say September, then in October, I believe everything can be back to normal.
If the conflict stopped, let's say today, all right? If the conflict is stopped today, we're definitely going to have an effect, like, for month of April, May, then June, July, August, as you mentioned, is a hot month in Dubai. Everyone,
there is nothing there still,
schools
whatever.
are closed. People go back to, like, to Europe, to North America, whatever place they come to. So usually the market pick up after that, like, in September, October, November. Now, the touristy month, like, from November, the weather is nice. People that come here for, like, maybe New Year, December.
Yes.
During all that months. Now, I think we're going to have that effect until the end of the year.
Yeah.
Some sort of effect, okay? But also I believe strongly that Dubai government, they're going to come back and they're going to come back stronger. Now this one, I'm not just saying as a person who I love Dubai. I'm just saying because I've seen it. I've seen it through all these years. There's a pattern. Every single time Dubai has been hit with something, they come back stronger. Yeah. Now, that's a separate topic. We're going to discuss about it. But all to say, yes, this is, I believe, is going to be the effect in short term and long term. And in off-plan and secondary market, I believe in the rental is going to be in the short-term rental.
Yes.
And on the sales, it's going to be mostly on the off-plan and pre-construction. For now, in terms of the number of launches, the new launches. And that's, I guess, what we can see in the market. And that's up to today, by the way, depending on how conflict continue.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you see the people are hesitating more or they're like moving faster? What is the scenario here? What do you think about that?
They all definitely, again, depend on the investor. Yeah? We do have some investors, as soon as this conflict is started, I got people like, hey, you know what about my property? What's going to happen to my property?
Yes.
I'm like, nothing is going to happen to your property.
Hold, don't.
I'm like, if you want the real opinion, if your property is in a good location, prime location, you purchase with a good developer, you bought at the right price, then hold it.
Yes. Because I have been giving the same advice to the people.
This is what always we've been telling our clients. Look, before this conflict happened, remember, we had so many premium location that developers that come up with a good project and project sells like, in like an hour, in 2 hours. Now, at the same time, we had some developer that was struggling. They were struggling even with like a very flexible payment plan.
Yes.
But there was developer that were giving like, 40% discount. How you give 40% discount when MR is selling the property in 1 hour with a payment plan of 80-20? That means you have to pay 80% upfront.
Yeah.
And you are coming up with a flexible payment plan of, 30% during construction, 70% of the handover, and then giving 40% discount.
Yeah.
That shows there's something wrong with the developer, there's something wrong with the product, nothing wrong with the market. So with that being said, I believe if somebody did a good and a smart purchase and got the good advice from a good agency,
it's very important. It's very important.
The other ones are going to be affected.
What do you think about the mindset, wait and see? Overall, we have been seeing that over the past years, even before this conflict started. So we saw people who were saying, oh, just wait, there is a bubble, the bubble is going to burst, then this and this and this. There is a whole of this narrative that came around the Dubai market. So what do you think overall about that?
There's one thing I know about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, they've been talking about that bubble years without any valid or solid information.
Yeah, while the market was raising, the demand and popularity of the Dubai, everything was on the rise. People were saying
we had that news that was saying in 2023 the market's going to crash. 2024 they say the same thing. 2025 they say the same thing. We came to 2026, people are talking still the same things. Remember, in 2026 we knew that the market is going to be slow. We knew it was going to be slower compared to, let's say, 2024 or 5. But again, Dubai always come up with a surprise.
Yeah.
Dubai always come with a surprise. Now, I think there's a couple of good things also happening in the market right now. And one of the good things is here that I don't want to say, I don't want to name them, but like, you know what? Unfortunately, we had so many unprofessional people as agent in the market.
Yes.
And I think something was needed to be done in order for them to leave.
Yeah.
I hope we're going to see those people leaving.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
they're seeing more of Dubai agents than population.
I don't like to see people destroying the image of Dubai.
Yeah.
The Dubai government and the UAE government in general, they're working very hard, and they've been working very hard in general for years and years to build brand Dubai, to build brand Abu Dhabi, to build brand UAE. And we don't want people, they come here, I don't know, with whatever profession, with limited knowledge, they try to come here and spoil that picture, that image. Why? Because I often come across of people and investors, they talk to me and say, listen, whatever agent told me, like, you know, hey, yeah, buy this property over here, in 6 months we can flip it for you and we can sell it. But this is before the conflict, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the market of flipping is gone.
Yeah.
There's very limited project nowadays you can invest and you can do the flipping.
Yeah.
So I think one of the good effects you're going to have in this market, hopefully, is going to be, you know, to not see or to see less unprofessional people.
Definitely.
In this real estate market.
Definitely, and we love that, to be honest.
I think everyone loves that.
Now, I think there is also one more important question that I have to ask. So, let's say, for example, if I have a buyer today, and he is serious during all of this conflict and the situation that is happening, where would you guide them, and what should they focus on?
Let me reverse this question to yourself.
So
the reason this is a live example here.
Yeah.
Now we've been discussing about your potential client.
Yeah.
You mentioned, like, you know, your client is interesting where?
I can tell you what me as an agent and me as a person, like, let's say, for example, I'm an investor, right?
Yeah.
So I want to buy property today. First of all, I will consider the factors that I already told you. And those factors are: who is the developer? What is his reputation? Where is the location? Very important. And what are the future developments happening around that location? Very, very, very important. I'm not willing to invest in just random location because it's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, whatever the case is. I need to make sure something is happening within that area that will help my capital grow, right?
Yeah.
And the third factor.
I wanted you to go to discuss about your potential client right now.
Oh, yes.
The project you're waiting. Mention the name of project.
Yeah, the project right now, what we are waiting is a project in Yas Island by a developer called Aldar, which is, by the way, one of the biggest developer, actually the biggest developer in Abu Dhabi.
I remember you have two clients. Yes. No, I'm referring also more to the Palm Central.
Palm Central, Palm Jebel Ali. Okay, so there are two different concepts when it comes to both investors. So first investor, when it comes to Abu Dhabi, he likes the way I explain to him what is going to happen in the future, what are the fundamentals when it comes to this kind of investments, which is very important for the investor to know, right?
Yeah.
This is why even during this situation, he understands the importance of the developer and the location, and this is why even in this situation, he wants to jump in on the project and buy. When it comes to the other investor, he is also end user, so he understands what is going to happen in the future as well, how Palm Jebel Ali is going to be developed. However, he likes the location, he knows the background of Dubai, even though he's international, he has been many years to Dubai, he understands what happened in the past. Yes, he's familiar. So this is what is happening, but what is common in both of them, even though one is not a resident, doesn't have a residency or anything else, the other one is a resident. However, they have trust in Dubai. That is what is common to the both, and this is the part where I like. Even though something is happening, they understand that it is serious situation, we are aware of it. However, they say, okay, Milena, I really like Dubai, I know what Dubai is capable of, I know they kept their word, I know they did everything what they wanted to do, and also what my main reason for investment is, this country is so structured that they have plans set up for the future, and it's going to be a long-term future. And you as an investor, you want to pay attention to that, because when the government has set up plan for the future, that means your investment also is going to be impacted.
True. So giving that example, I guess it gives the answer to the audience, like, where is going to be the current situation where people are going to invest. So it's very simple. We go back again to the base. You look at the top developer, as we discussed, by holding OMR. Majority of the projects, they are like more in a premium location.
Yes.
And we know their reputation. So we know those guys, their projects are safe. It's just a matter of the time and the price. And they might come up with a flexible payment plan.
Yes.
And they might come with special offer. So that's, I guess, where I would guide the client.
Even they're not even asking me about this. Milena, is there any discounts or something like this? Because you know what? Let me tell you,
it's a good time for them to get some of the units, because remember the Palm Central, when they launch, it's just like sold out. And I remember it was crazy. And right now, I was just telling you, like, you know what? Hey, okay, that's a perfect time. Maybe the market is slow a bit right now, and it makes it easier for you to get this opportunity and to do your purchase, because that location will remain premium.
Yes.
Always.
And you have to understand, you made a very clear point at the beginning of this video. People need to understand that the real estate is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. It's not impacted by the news. It can be impacted by, like, let's say for the renter, like you mentioned, it's going to be short-term. Tourists are not going to come, so it's going to be impacted.
Even that one temporary.
However, yes, even that. But I'm just saying, like, this is off-plan. That means the constructions goes for 3 to 4 years, 5 years, depending on the project. This situation is not going to last 3, 4, 5 years. I hope so. Let's say it like this, but I know for sure, because then even if it lasts few months, we know how the economy is going to go and everything else. You know what factors,
the impact of the entire world,
how it's going to be, even in the 1 month, what is going on in the world. So we have to understand, when you are investing even in the off plan, there is something called recovery after this, and then the things are going to go back to the normal like before.
Fantastic. We don't want this video to be longer. We're going to come up with a new video very soon, where we try to cover the real estate market as much as possible, giving the fact of the ground and what's happening in the market in Dubai. Now, stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, and then we'll see you all soon.